Well, good evening, wrestling fans, and welcome to Hager Hershey's High School Wrestling Weekly, hosted once again by the Double Eagle Clubhouse Grill, not by Rex Brewer and B. Brewer's Basement. As last week, he wouldn't let us in the house, Dane. Wouldn't let us in here, so we had to take up shop someplace else. It was a good night. Small crowd, though. Small crowd of one. Well, two, your wife and the judge was the only two people in the building. But we had a great show. And the boss told me the other day that the first part of it we were not streaming on WZB.com, and he had to call and he had to do something, but first 10 minutes was not streaming. So I know a lot of people are listening on Indiana Matt on Facebook, but I think we got the streaming fixed, so we were up and running after that.
Yeah, we certainly tested our technological capabilities over the last 7 days, as it was a lot of fun. It was weird not to be with you for 3 straight days on broadcasts, but I have to admit, the judge and I had a ball of a time on Thursday night, and Friday I was just able to splice up all of the interviews from all of the semi-state champs on Friday and a couple of placers. And then Saturday was just a whirlwind. I mean, we showed up. We drove through the snow. Did you guys have snow here?
We had a dusting, but we got down there and it's a little bit more. Now, Nat was sitting behind us. Nat said Muncie had 3 inches.
Yeah, well, it was definitely it affected the roads. It's very hilly over there in Miami, Fulton County, that kind of area. So it took us a little bit longer to get there. I'll tell you what, we walked in. We already had the equipment set up from Friday night. We sat there for maybe 3 minutes. We went online. We took a 5.5-minute pee break, and we were on air until 3:30.
Yeah, we were done a little bit before that. I think we were done by about 2:45, I think.
But it was a heck of a lot of fun, and we sure enjoyed. Josh did a great job on Saturday. He brought a lot of insight, and with my voice the way it's been the last 4 or 5 days, it was welcome because Friday was a struggle between the cough drop and the lift the mic and cough. It was not easy being solo.
Rookie, I'm telling you. I'm telling you, rookie.
It was bad timing. So we want to thank everybody who's listening tonight, and of course all of our sponsors. And I was walking through my youngest. He's 9 years old. The Decatur Flea Market is the peak time of his month. We're walking through the flea market today, and somebody random pulls me aside. I don't know who he is. I feel like I know who he is, but I don't know his name. He pulled me aside and said, hey, we weren't going to make it to Rochester yesterday. I really appreciate that you were there and that you were broadcasting for it. And so I really appreciated that, and I told him thank you for saying that. It was a lot of fun. I know that there were some technical difficulties. We were good the whole day through, and then just randomly it popped up, no internet. I don't know what it was. It was the AT&T. It just went offline, and so I had to reboot it, and I pulled it back up, and then I thought we were streaming on the same link. I texted the judge, and he's like, man, it's not going. So I pulled off of the original video, and I pulled up a new link, but I didn't have the time to sort of send that out to people, but I think most people got the message, and I even had a couple of fans who were on the WZBD Facebook channel who said, yeah, I got it. I figured it out. So we want to thank everybody who stuck with us, and I know at one point while Adams Central was in the semifinals, Rex, I looked at the YouTube channel, and we were in the triple digits, so there were at least 100 people who were streaming it live at that very moment, and so I think it was worthwhile. And Adams Central wrestled great. I don't think they had anything to hang their heads about, and I don't think South Adams did either, but Rochester just absolutely class of the field there on Saturday.
I know. I talked to Coach Johnny Hammond at church today, and he said that he had ZBD 92.7 up on the radio and was listening to YouTube same time. So he was listening to both of them just to keep track of what's going on. And I got friends of mine on Facebook, and I was like, anybody know how Belmont's doing? 92.7, stream it. Just turn the radio on. What is it?
There were a couple people, I think, who were confused at the fact that we were playing something different on air from the YouTube channel. Because I had somebody today at church ask me, was the match on? And I'm like, yeah, the match was on. Well, I was on YouTube and it wasn't on there. Well, that's because I guess we live and learn, and we try to promote everything that we're doing. Of course, we're getting to that point in the season where we're consolidating all the work that we're doing. I believe Thursday is our last night of separate crews simultaneous. On Thursday, I'll be at Adams Central as the Jets wrestle Delta, and you and AJ will be covering Belmont and Yorktown. After that, we will be on the air the entire time.
So I know that that's going to be a couple of good matches. From what I saw, Delta just blew through the field, and there were some matches that I didn't think teams were going to score against them in the earlier rounds, and they are just so strong down low. They got some really good guys up top, and there's no weak spots in the middle either.
Yeah, and they've got some depth too. I mean, they bump up. They're 6 and they're 13, and score falls.
Oh yeah,
and their backup 6 comes in and wins a match at 106 against Belmont. That was one of the key matches in that dual meet. I'm also looking forward to Thursday because as much fun as Team State is and as much as we enjoy it, there's a lot of pressure to perform. And now...
For us?
No, not for us.
Okay. Whew, scared me for a minute.
Now you look forward to those matches, and Belmont still wants to beat Yorktown, and Adams Central still wants to hold their own against Delta and maybe pull off the upset. But it's more about those individual matchups, and there's so much pressure on some of these kids, especially on Saturday at Rochester, it felt like. You've got your 7 matches that you think you can win. You got your 7 matches that you think you're going to lose. And those 7 kids have it ingrained in their minds. I got to stay off my back. I got to hold this to a major decision, all of those types of things. Now that we're through Saturday, now you just let loose. There's nothing holding you back. If Adams Central loses to Delta, so what? If Belmont loses to Yorktown, so what? They lost yesterday. It doesn't matter now. That those individual matchups, of course, with these 4 teams all being in the same regional, are going to have a pretty profound effect on how we view the postseason in those first 2 weeks.
I think that's the biggest factor is head-to-head matchups going into the regional that are going to be different. I know that, Belmont did not wrestle Sam Wolper against Colton Ronimus because, they know they're going to see him at regional, so they made a little bump in there. You don't want to wrestle those guys more times than you have to because if you run into them at regional, there's a chance you're going to run into them at semi-state. You're going to run to them down at state, but there's a couple of places, Belmont didn't wrestle Gavin Davis against Mitchell Betts. Is that strategy? We don't know. Is Gavin Davis's shoulder 100%? Do you want to hurt it in that match, or do you just want to save him?
Well, Belmont certainly didn't need it against Western.
Yeah,
they wrestled very impressively, I thought, in that semifinal round. So, yeah, and the other thing that we haven't talked about is all 4 of those teams. Yorktown probably the weakest chance, but I think they still have a pretty decent team, and we don't realize it because they didn't get into 2A. All 4 of those teams have their sights set on the regional team score. Belmont, Delta, and AC all want to win a regional title. That's a big deal.
That's going to be a bloodbath. I mean, there's going to be nobody to run away with it. They're just going to cut each other and slice and dice. So more talk coming up, but the weigh-in section has ended. Let's send back to Steve Rouse running the board for us. As always, here on Sunday night, we'll be back with more Haggard Hershey Zelt High School Wrestling Weekly here on WZBD.
The staff at Haggard, Hershey, and Zelt Funeral Home is honored to serve the community we love and live in. Locally owned and operated by Ryan Hershey and Eric Zelt, we understand that each family we serve and each life lived tells a unique story. Our goal is to offer comfort, care, and dignity to all who entrust their loved ones to our care. We are proud to call Adams County our home and look forward to serving you for generations to come.
Cross Creek Golf Club in Decatur has the perfect Christmas gift for the entire family. This year, give the gift of golf. Reduced rates for next season are now available. Student memberships, singles, couples, family, and seniors are all options on the 27-hole beautiful Cross Creek Golf Course. Gift certificates from Cross Creek make great stocking stuffers. New merchandise, including sweaters and outerwear, are also great gift ideas. Stop in soon for the best selection. Cross Creek Golf Club in Decatur. When you're doing new construction or remodeling and you need drywall, the name to call is Paul Baker Drywall. Paul Baker Drywall does championship caliber work and gives you free estimates. Paul uses all the latest styles for your approval, and his work is always guaranteed. Give Paul a call today at 701-4388. That's 701-4388. When it's time for drywall, use the best, Paul Baker Drywall.
Welcome back once again to the Hager Hershey High School Wrestling Weekly, hosted in our normal, usual Sunday night place, the Double Eagle Clubhouse Grill. Rex Brewer along with Dane Fuelling. As soon as Dane makes it back to the table, trying to slam that extra pork taco down. I went with the fried fish tonight because Jason said he still had some left for him, especially the other night, and it is wonderful. Recommended some to the judge and the Brights, and it's Dane, I really like fish, but I think Jason's tartar sauce just puts it to the next level. Sometimes it's good tartar sauce that makes fish good.
I don't know. Those pork tacos hit the
pork tacos
hit the spot. I feel like all I've done the last few days is eat out, but I had a great time this weekend. It's always fun for me to be able to go somewhere, spend the night, go out to eat with some wrestling people, talk to wrestling people the night before, spend the whole day at a wrestling meet. I couldn't have asked for anything more, and Rochester didn't disappoint. I mean, it was packed. I warned people on Friday that it was going to be packed, and every seat was full. And there were some times where they couldn't fit any more people in, and that was it. You either had to stick with your seat or deal with it. But I never got the chance to go in the auxiliary gym to see what that was like. But when we left, they were still wrestling in the auxiliary gym. So they battled from first to 12th place.
You know, Jay County did a great job. They had 4 mats down on the floor, and they put all the spectators up in the upper deck. And it was a little crowded, but it wasn't horrible. As always, we tried to chase people out of the corner in front of us, and the boss put down some chairs and some tape and marked it off, and people still kept climbing over the tape to go take pictures, and they're like, hey, you need to sit down, we can't see.
Yeah, there was a lot of discussion about the track wrestling, flow wrestling cameras and where you're supposed to sit, but Rochester did a good job. What was most interesting was, because of the snow, there was no way to tell where the parking spots were, and Rochester's got angled parking, and half the people knew that and the other half didn't, and there were people being parked like 4 deep, and I saw a couple of wrestling coaches trying to maneuver those white buses through tight spots. It's not easy, I'll tell you what. So just one more thing to add to a wrestling coach's resume that they have to be able to know how to do, and that's how to manage a white bus correctly.
Drive the short bus.
And not have to explain themselves. So.
Dane, I really enjoyed the team state with all of the whole tournament being on one tournament, watching track wrestling. I could keep track of everybody. I could see how Adam Central was doing. I could see how 3A was doing. I could see how 4A was doing. I could watch those matches actually. You know, and that's the nice thing about it. Was one tournament on one screen, and you could run team scores and everything, and it would really become a broadcaster's friend. And I don't know how you do it, how we used to do it without it.
That's a good point. I guess we used to not care as much, or we knew that there was no way we were going to be able to follow it.
Well, somebody have to run you a piece of paper, and here's the scores, here's the bracket. We don't have to do that now. It's all right there.
In 1A, all the seeds held in that first round. The 4 unseeded teams all ended up over in the auxiliary gym. Cascade was the one who was tasked with the number 9 seed. They lost 49-27 to North Miami. So the top 8 advanced. Then in the quarterfinals, Adams Central wrestled pretty well against North Miami. South Adams was right there with Tell City. That was a good dual meet, 41-33. Rochester also got challenged by Prairie Heights. That was 51-26. And then, the big discussion point, West Central ended up with the 2 seed because of their win over Rochester, 42-39. And looking at that West Central team, it's kind of mind-boggling. And I know their coach made a post on Indiana Matt, but if you look at the lineup that beat Rochester, 42-39, it was the same team that West Central had for the most part.
They just matched up
and
right with what Rochester?
Rochester missed Holloway at 106, and they were missing their 32. But West Central's best kid, that Fritz kid at 132, would have probably pinned Rochester's kid anyways. It's crazy that they and I know a lot of people are dogging on West Central for finishing 8th and not being competitive. But for them to pull out a win over Rochester, I mean, all of Rochester's studs were in the lineup when they beat them. That's the craziness of 1A.
Well, it all comes down to who shows up on what day. You can have a stud-loaded team, and they show up, and one kid's not feeling well, and he's sick. I mean, every team wrestles different every day. I said this before. Belmont was very fortunate to wrestle Delta when they did early in the season, because that was before Delta started to peak, and then Delta comes in and just wiped through the field, and everybody's like, wow, Belmont beat them before. Yeah, Belmont got really lucky to beat them before.
Adams Central then beat Tell City in the semifinal 38-34. That was a thrilling dual meet. Rochester beats Cowan, but I think the most impressive win of the whole day is the fact that Cowan comes through and beats Tell City 39-36. That was a heck of a battle for third place. And so the Blackhawks end up in third place behind Rochester and Adams Central. And I texted Coach Abbott, and I'm sure he didn't think much of it, but I texted him. I said, man, I'm so excited to see the way you guys wrestled. You guys really battled. And, that's a great result for a school like Cowan to finish in third in that field.
And then, since I have the opportunity to know a little bit more about what happened at 2A as you went through 1A, but 2A, who is ranked between Heritage Hills and Rensselaer Central.
Yeah, that was we talked about it.
Heritage Hills was a tough matchup
Heritage
for
Hills
Belmont.
had no head-to-heads, no common opponents with any other team that got voted in to 2A. We had no idea where they were. And I know on the one page that we had handed out with the rest of the committee, I listed all the criteria for everybody who was seated. And then for Heritage Hills, I think this is about where they belong. Turns out, I think, you look at Heritage Hills, they lost to Belmont 45-24. That dropped them over into the other one. They beat Rensselaer Central, and then they were 40-36 with Oak Hill. You look back at it, maybe that tournament looks a little bit different if you put Heritage Hills at 6 or 7. Maybe they have a chance to beat a Western or a Jay County. But, kudos to them. They look really good.
Well, my broadcast partner was down doing a little legwork up front. He says Coach Myers doesn't think that they match up very well against Heritage Hills. So I'm down there, and before our match goes on, I come back, and Gavin Davis is there, and I help him put his brace on because he's got this shoulder thing. And I said, Coach Myers doesn't think you guys match up very well with Heritage Hills. And he goes, we're fine. Don't worry about it. He said, we're okay. And I said, well, I guess you guys are wrestling and coaches aren't, so it doesn't matter. He goes, we'll be fine. Don't worry about it. So, apparently Gavin Davis knows a little bit more.
That was 41-28.
And it was close at times, and Belmont put a couple of matches away that sealed the deal, but they had to wrestle for it. I mean, it was no gimmies.
But it didn't hurt them against Western in the semifinals.
Yeah.
Because they crushed them. That was a complete reversal of what it was last year.
And they bumped everybody. They went away from Mitchell Betts, and Davis comes out and
Did Rich wrestle Betts?
Yes.
Okay.
Landon Rich came out and wrestled Betts, gets stuck in 30, 40 seconds, something like that. But then the Belmont guys, they knew where they're going to start. That's where Western's a little bit weak. And they knew they could bump up because, they get pins from Davis. I think Duke got a tech fall. No, Duke got a fall. Palacios got a fall. Mendez got a fall. Martin got a fall. And then
Baker got bumped out, right?
Yeah, Baker got bumped
Martin
out.
went up. And so Baker had wrestled the Western heavyweight at the Al Smith and beat him, but I think it was pretty close. And so I think Belmont coaches probably thought, let's make sure that we get those wins. But in the end, it didn't matter. 61-15, pretty darn impressive. I just think, Delta, once they got Ronimus back and they filled some of those holes and they got later in the season, best team in 2A.
And he still told me, I talked to Cody before the match, and he goes, I said, you got everybody back? And he said, well, no, still missing one. He said, I've got guys in there. He said, but, we always talk about football coaches, the difference between your ones and twos. And that's what makes a good team is making sure your twos are close to your ones. But sometimes you get a guy and he's out there and they're still not 100%. And I tell you what, that team is solid.
Taking a look at 3A, the seeds for the most part held. The one team that screwed everything up was Sam Reason's East Noble, and he was absolutely riding a high after winning at girls semi-state on Friday. East Noble knocks off New Pal. They were the 6th seed coming in, and then the semifinals, it was the top 4 seeds all reaching the semifinals. Terre Haute South, 30 points past Franklin. Floyd Central pulls off, I guess, what you call an upset. It was a 9-point win over Columbus East. Columbus East, I think, had beaten them earlier in the year, at least had a common over them. And then it was a great duel in the finals. Floyd Central beats Terre Haute South 42-26. East Noble ends up finishing in 8th place, a great finish for them. And I believe, if I remember right, they tied Mishawaka in that 7th place match. So, and we're going to talk to Coach Reason later on in the evening. And I'm perfectly happy to admit I didn't vote for East Noble to get into the tournament. And I had showed, that's right, boo me, shows what I know. They end up tying the 7th place team and the defending champions in the Mishawaka Cavemen. So a great performance by East Noble in that tournament. Snyder ends up 11th and DeKalb 12th. Greenfield Central takes 5th over Roncalli. And Columbus East had no problem with Franklin in the 3rd and 4th place match. But it sounded like 3A went really, really well. And then it was perfect to be able to drive home on the way back to Fort Wayne on the way to 9 Mile for me and listen to Joe call the Crown Point and Brownsburg match. Tell you what, it doesn't matter who's wrestling. If you're talking about high school wrestling, and Jeff Bright will agree with me, if you can watch any high school dual meet finish 26-22, that's a dogfight.
Yeah.
That's basically no bonus points at all. That's a total of 21-21, right? Would be a perfect match. That's a total of 6 bonus points all the way around. Those were back and forth. I believe there was a team point taken away, but how can you not have a team point taken away in a dual meet like that ends 26-22? I thought when I saw Mater Dei beat Avon 29-27 that was going to be the lowest scoring match of the entire tournament. Turns out that the championship match delivered everything that it could have possibly done at 26-22.
One good thing about track wrestling in a one Belmont match, misconduct was taken off, and the score should have been 12, and it was 11. I'm like, why is that? I said, well, maybe I go to track wrestling. I'll go to the thing, break down team, and there it is, misconduct. Okay, that's what it was. So with that, we've reached the end of first period A. We're going to send it back to studio for a round of commercials. Back with first period B right after this. You're listening to High School Wrestling on WZBD.
Are you ready for spring? Come see what we have growing in the greenhouses. Hi, it's Jessie at Heller Nursery, and we are open all winter long. Heller Nursery always has a wide selection of houseplants in stock and pottery for inside and outside the house. We are preparing for spring every day now, and with new shipments of decor, pottery, plants, and seeds, there's always something new to see. Check out hellernursery.com to see our wide selection of spring offerings of trees, shrubs, fruits, and perennials. Heller Nursery, open 7 days a week.
Bowers Paint Studio on West Monroe Street in Decatur is hands down the best auto body repair shop in the Midwest. That's why your friends and neighbors give Bowers Paint Studio a 5-star rating on Facebook. Your family ride get dinged in an accident? Take it to Bowers for a free estimate. Need a custom paint job for your collectible car or motorcycle? Bowers Paint Studio is the place to go. Nate works with all the insurance companies and can help you get a loaner. That's Bowers Paint Studio on West Monroe Street in Decatur.
Does your smile need work? Maybe it's time for a cleaning and exam. Visit Laura Kugelhahn, DDS, and her knowledgeable, caring staff at Complete Smiles on North Main Street in Bluffton. Dr. Kugelhahn would love to help you maintain your dental health or transform your smile. Whatever your needs might be, Complete Smiles is there to help you. Dr. Kugelhahn is currently accepting new patients. Call 824-3100 to schedule an appointment.
Welcome back once again to the Hager Hershey's High School Wrestling Weekly, hosted by the Double Eagle. Once again, we're live from the Double Eagle Clubhouse Grill, and we have made our way to first period B. And Dane, why don't you introduce our guest we have on the phone here?
Yes, we are joined by Aaron King from Explore Evansville, and he's here to talk to us, and he's going to be a guest here somewhat semi-regularly over the next couple of weeks as we get ready to pump up the IHSAA state finals, which are going to be held in Evansville for the very first time ever. But anyways, we want to welcome you, Aaron, to the show.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Really appreciate it, and appreciate the opportunity to shine some light on the city of Evansville and have a chance to talk a little bit about the upcoming state finals. I know our city's really excited.
So of course, so much of our attention and efforts have been focused on what happened yesterday at the 4 sites around the state for the team state duels. But now that those are over, there's going to be a little bit of discussion on Indiana Mat over the next day or so. But really, the attention is going to turn to the state tournament. Sectionals just 4 weeks away. And then everybody's going to start talking about Evansville. So what can you tell us about what fans and coaches and wrestlers can expect for the experience at the state finals?
Yeah, well, first off, I think our city's just incredibly excited to have an opportunity to take a crack at this. This will be the first IHSAA championship hosted in Evansville. So I think there was a lot of intrigue and rumors flying around when it first came out that state wrestling was going to need a new home in 2024. So it was something our team was following closely, and I was still living in Indianapolis at the time, but was following it really close, and have to really commend the local leaders here, the area athletic directors, and the Evansville Vanderbilt School Corporation. They just did a great job of hopping on this and making it what seemed like kind of a far reach at the time, just making it become a reality through the hard work of a lot of folks. So I think it's going to be a great opportunity. It's going to be something that hasn't been seen before, so something totally different, hosted in the Ford Center here in Evansville. And I think it's really just an incredible venue for that event itself. It's going to be a little more intimate than Gainbridge Fieldhouse, so I think it's really going to be rocking for this event, and it's going to feel like the fans are right on top of the wrestling action. Still around 10,000 seats, so going to get a lot of people and really pack it in there. I think it's going to create for an exciting atmosphere for sure, and a great backdrop. Evansville's done a really good job with the semi-state down here, spearheaded by Beth Hagan and her team at Wrights High School and some of the other area high schools as well. I think they've really put on a great show with that. So excited to take a crack, of course, at the state finals. And then I think our team and our local organizing committee has been really focused on making this just a great experience for the student athletes involved, as well as the fans that'll be traveling down to Evansville. We've got a lot of big plans, especially on Saturday. We're really working hard to put together a fan festival. So in between sessions on Saturday, we hope fans will check that out. There's going to be a lot of games. I think we got a zip line that's going to be set up down there on Main Street. We'll have some live entertainment out there on the street and some food trucks. So a lot of different things for folks to do during the break on Saturday. And we hope people that will just take advantage of everything that's going on in town during that week, because there'll be a lot. We really, again, just want to make this a great experience for everyone involved, and I think we'll certainly hope to leave a lasting impression. Again, it's going to be a unique one this year down in Evansville after being hosted in Indianapolis for several years. So just really looking forward to the opportunity.
So, Aaron, this is Rex. I was a former referee, and I never got to referee the semi-state once they moved it to Ford Arena. But at the Referees Association meeting, one of the referees stood up and said that he's refereed the Evansville semi-state multiple times. He said it's one of his favorite places to referee, and he said that he's trying to tell everybody it's going to be a good time. Dane and I are always up for a good road trip, even though this road trip's a little bit longer than ones we normally like to take. But we're going to spend most of the week down in Evansville, I think. We have to show up probably Thursday night to be there early for our show on Friday morning before the tournament starts. But since you are closer to the equator, are we going to wear shorts and T-shirts down there on that weekend?
Well, yeah, you are. You're going to be a couple hours south, and we tell a lot of people we're actually about 30 miles south of Louisville on a map. So we're down there, but you can expect probably 5 to 6 degrees warmer than Indianapolis or that area. So I don't know if you'll be in shorts and a T-shirt. We're optimistic, yeah, that you never know in February. So that's what we're holding out hope for, is 75 and sunny. But yeah, we'll probably be somewhere more in the 40s or 50s.
Aaron, Dane here. I know that you've talked about your background with wrestling, and as we look forward to what's going to happen in February, I've had a lot of people ask me, mostly because of this show and our talking about it, but a lot of people asking, is it going to be worth my time if I don't have a guaranteed ticket, to book a hotel room and come down knowing that I might not get in. Can you talk a little bit to those fans considering coming down and knowing that you can't buy a ticket until Friday night to get in on Saturday?
Yeah, I think it's totally worth your time to come down just to have a chance to witness the state tournament in a manner that it's never really been seen before, and especially at the Ford Center. I think we have a lot of plans, and the local organizing committee's done a great job. I don't want to give away all our secrets, but I think you're going to see a lot of things that haven't necessarily happened or been done before in Indy. I know they do an incredible job with the tournament, but we just have a lot of plans to really make this, like I said, an awesome experience for everyone involved. And there's a lot to do down here in Evansville. So just want to hope people will make the trip and of course, can get in. And we're doing our best to make sure we maximize every seat that's available so we can pack as many in as we can.
So make sure that you leave space for the greatest wrestling radio talk show in the state of Indiana, as we always host a pre-tournament broadcast down there, so we make sure we have someplace to set up. Make sure you give us a good spot so we can see all the action to broadcast from. And also, Dane and I are always pretty interested in hospitality rooms as well, so keep all those things high in mind.
For sure. I'll put that at the top of my list. And, yeah, I've been talking to Dane, so we'll make sure we get you guys set up for sure.
Well, just as long as you're not relying on Rex and I to provide the entertainment that you mentioned earlier.
If we're in a jam, yeah, we'll see what you guys can do.
Now, one thing that we do is our show, we created some new shirts this year, and as you're one of our sponsors, we put your Explore Evansville logo on the back of it. So I'm going to open up that catalog again before the end of the year, and need me to bring a couple of those shirts down to you as well?
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. Yeah, we'd love to have you. Love to have a few of those.
So, Aaron, our listeners, I think, can look forward to the next few weeks, that is, on our show to learn more about some of the details as far as events, as far as fans, those types of things going forward, looking forward to the middle of February, and sort of stay tuned to our show each of the next few Sundays to learn more about what that's going to look like.
Yeah, for sure. Hope to be on here again at least another couple times as we really gear up for the state tournament, and just really excited again. I think this is going to be an awesome experience, and hope everybody can make it down to Evansville for it.
Well, Aaron, we thank you for coming on the show. We look forward to speaking to you and some of the other people down here in Evansville the next few weeks. I know you mentioned a couple of restaurant owners and hotel owners here in the next couple of weeks, and we're still lining up that interview with the mayor here before we get to February.
Yes, sir. Yep, we got a new mayor here just after the new year, so she'll be she's got a few things to do this first month, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see if we can get her lined up as well. I know everybody here is super excited for this event and know how important it is to our city. So we'll see if we can get new Mayor Terry on at some point.
Perfect, Aaron. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks a lot.
That was our representative from Explore Evansville, the sports department. And, Dana, people whine and complain a lot about it, and they wanted it in Fort Wayne, and it doesn't make sense that everybody has to come to Fort Wayne. It's really easy for us to have it at Coliseum, but I tell you what, you mentioned before, nothing like a good road show.
That's right.
Just take a road trip. And
from talking to Aaron, he didn't want to reveal any of his secrets, but I'll reveal half of them anyways. I think they are planning on creating some sort of open air / enclosed,
like a fan
for
zone.
Winter, a fan zone with big screens, with food trucks, those types of things, to make sure that if you do come down there and if the finals does sell out, that there is an atmosphere where you're still going to be able to take in the finals and watch it and those types of things with other wrestling fans. And there's going to be stuff all throughout the day on Friday and Saturday. And Aaron's assured me that they'll reveal those details as they're finalized over the next 5 weeks with us here on the show.
Now, the commish, at the meeting, he kind of tipped a hand a little bit. He said, believe they're going to have buses to take people around Saturday night after the match is over, and they want to turn that to Party Town. there's going to be buses taking people and where they want to go, where the parties are at. So, I mean, anything they can do to just increase the experience is money ahead.
Well, let's flip this around, too. You talk about how passionate they are about what they're doing, and he talked about Indianapolis. Let's be real honest. Indianapolis doesn't really do much for the wrestling community. Gainbridge does a great job of hosting, but you're in, you're out, and you're released to the mercy of all of the restaurant and bar owners in Indianapolis. But they don't really do anything to welcome wrestling fans. There's nothing extra. If you don't have a ticket, you don't get a single thing. And with the IHSAA's new streaming policy with Fox Sports and all of those types of things, with Bally Sports, you can't even sit in a bar or restaurant outside of the arena now and watch the wrestling. So one positive that I see coming out of this is I think that it will inspire, at least push, Indianapolis to do a little bit more because, I don't know, between you and me, we've been to just about every IHSAA state finals that exists. We haven't made it to the tennis yet or the golf. Did you go to golf? No, you didn't go to golf.
Cross country's tough too.
Those are the best. Well, I've been to cross country state. Like, wrestling state is unique. They talk about the IHSAA basketball finals being unique, but at the end, there are so fewer diehard basketball fans who attend the state finals compared to the diehard. You will find, going throughout Indianapolis on that weekend, you'll find 2,000 people who couldn't care less who's involved in the state finals. They will be there. And I don't think that exists in any of the other sports. It certainly doesn't exist in football or some of the other big money sports in the IHSAA. And I think Indianapolis probably could learn something from what Evansville is putting on. You've got that corridor there that they created for the Super Bowl on Georgia Street that leads all the way to Kilroy's and past to Circle Center and over to Lucas Oil. They could be doing a lot of things with that. They really don't. And so I think there are some positives here to this one-year hiatus.
You and I have covered the state football championships. I went down and watched Belmont play against Evansville Modern Day in basketball one time. Maybe it's just wrestling fans are just a little bit different, but I tell you what, the amperage inside Gainbridge Fieldhouse, when the two wrestlers are introduced by Kevin Whitehead, whoever's big shoes has to fill those this year, I pity the fool. But
I do too.
When he jacks that place up and those guys come in here, wrestling fans go crazy. Basketball doesn't do that. I mean, it's football games, they don't do that. I mean, football does a great job. They do the interviews of guys that put them on a big screen. They do a phenomenal job. It's a great production.
But in
wrestling,
the end, there's only 12 teams participating.
Yeah.
It's the only team sport who brings 110, 115, 120 teams, schools, into one place. And it's what makes our state finals so unique, and I think it's going to be a great experience in February.
I can't wait till it happens. So with that, let's send it back to the studio. Steve Rouser on the board, back with more of the High School Wrestling Weekly right here on WZBD.
Experience the magic of Evansville, Indiana, where Hoosier hospitality shines bright. Stroll along our scenic riverfront, indulge in local cuisine, and immerse yourself in history and culture. From family-friendly attractions to outdoor adventures, Evansville has it all. Visit the mesmerizing Mesker Park Zoo and Botanic Garden, or explore the city's rich history at the USS LST 325. Ready to start planning your stay? Discover everything our city has to offer at exploreevansville.com. Evansville, Indiana, where memories are made.
Based out of the Indiana Tech Wrestling Facility, the Warrior Regional Training Center is an elite training center for youth wrestlers, high school wrestlers, and college and senior level athletes. Featuring a college coaching staff with a strong history of developing talent and producing results, Warrior RTC will give any wrestler quality training partners to push them to new levels in the state-of-the-art 25,000 square foot wrestling building. The training is affordable and private training is also available. Put Warrior RTC in your corner this season.
When faced with the difficult task of making arrangements for your loved one, many emotions and questions arise. What would they want me to do if they were here? Where is the money coming from? How much should I spend? Do they want burial or cremation? The staff at Haggard, Hershey, and Zelt Funeral Home can help you navigate these tough questions. Make your wishes known and allow us to make sure that your wishes are carried out. Call Ryan Hershey or Eric Zelt at 260-724-7167 to schedule an appointment today.
Double Eagle, once again, we're live from the Double Eagle Clubhouse Grill. Huge crowd out here tonight. Listen to them. Listen to them. We got caught. Sorry, Steve, I came back a little bit late, but we're talking about the excitement that's going to happen down at Evansville. You know, to hear the passion that Aaron King had when he was on there, and just talking about it's something new. It's something different. I mean, we've been to the state finals, and you know where you want to go to have your supper. You know where you go to there, and you know where you go hang out, and you guys have the hotel where you hang out, where Jim Tonte always ends up visiting your room. Evansville, it's a whole new ballgame. I mean, you're going to find new stuff, man. I think it's just going to be new and exciting, and it's going to be new.
I'm talking to the king of the South, Triple B, right now, the guy who does the Evansville semi-state rankings, and he's trying to integrate his team from the South up into the North next year on their schedule, but he's been triumphing these South teams and saying that we like to brag about Adams County being the home of high school wrestling, but sometimes the South feels a little bit disrespected, and I know that they're going to carry this with pride going forth. They're going to be great hosts, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And I'll tell you what, they are going to sell out all of these sessions, and whether you think that's a good thing or a bad thing, it's going to create a great atmosphere for the state finals.
Well, I know that two guys are going to be in a building. That's you and I.
Well, I hope so.
And after that,
as long as Jason Wiley approves my credential request.
How much you put in for?
I don't know. We may have to leave Calver out. We'll have to see. So it's our time to recap the girls' semi-state. And like I said, East Noble was the team winner, which is wild considering that New Haven had 4 individual state champs. I really enjoyed the opportunity. I was a little bit jealous of you for doing the regional because you got a chance to talk to, I think, nearly all the regional champs.
When are you ever jealous of me for anything?
Always.
Come on.
Always. But I got my turn on Friday. The tournament flew by. Rochester was not concerned about taking any breaks, I'll tell you that. But we have a huge shout-out to our friend Troy Jacks. He set up a lot of these interviews, and if you want to find them, they are on WZB.com. I posted a link on Indiana Matt. I tagged on Twitter a bunch of the schools who were participating. East Noble got a champ at Kylie Honecker from East Noble, and unfortunately we didn't get to talk to Kylie because it was after that I was like, oh, crap, I got to text Troy to get these interviews set up. But if you want to hear some interviews, Kinley Keffer did a great job from Daleville. I know you talked to her at the regional, and then I got a chance to talk to both Juliana and Isabel Ocampo. Those were really interesting to talk to them about their goals and being sisters and teammates and all of those types of things. Naima Ghaffar was your champion at 120 pounds. She was very gracious in talking about her experience. Nevaeh Wilson was a great interview. I urge you to check that one out. And then we also got a chance to talk to what was our first defending state champ, and that was Ella Gall from Northfield. And she was in and out. We were trying to cover Emily Maynard's match, and then there was an injury time, but we were able to split that up, and we're going to play that for you now as we talk to Ella Gall, who was a semi-state champ as a defending state champ. Our champion, Ella Gall, who was your champion at 130 pounds and was the state champion last year at 132 pounds. Welcome to the interview loft, Ella.
Hi.
We were there in, I can't even remember, we go to so many gyms. Where was state last year? Mooresville.
Yes.
We were at Mooresville last year when you won. That was a really cool moment. And I certainly expected when I saw the bracket here at 130 pounds to see you on top. How much pressure did you feel this year coming in as the defending state champion?
It was more just I wanted to win again. Like the feeling under the lights and my family cheering me on. I just wanted to repeat that again.
Well, we'll ask you a few more questions here after we get through this overtime period here between Emily Maynard. Ella, in your season, how many matches have you had that got to this point, to the 30-second overtimes?
I had had a few. One big one was county finals freshman year for boys.
Now Maynard in on a shot. 3 seconds left. She needs to hold on to that leg. No points scored. We're joined by Ella Gall, the defending state champion from Northfield. You mentioned earlier that you wrestled some varsity matches against the boys. Have you wrestled any varsity matches this year against boys?
No.
Just girls this year?
Yeah.
Okay. And so walk us through what next week looks like for you on Friday, on Thursday, Friday. Will you have any sort of recognition from the school? Will you, you don't really have to spend the night before since you're pretty close to Kokomo. Will you have teammates with you? Who else from Northfield has made it?
Yeah, we have Lindsay Dill, our 140-pounder, coming with, and she's a great addition to the team this year.
Is she your practice partner?
Yeah, sometimes. I work with my brother a lot, though.
Okay. And Dill was defeated in the championship there in the second period by fall by Leffers, but a second-place finisher, and so pretty cool for a school like Northfield, a pretty small school from Wabash County, to have 2 girls wrestling in the state finals.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Well, very good, Ella. It was very nice to talk to you, and we look forward to hopefully having the chance to talk to you as a repeat state champion next week on Friday at Kokomo.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And that was one of the interviews that you can find on WZBD.com on the article. And if you want to find that, the article is titled, get back up to the top, it is East Noble, 14 girls claim first ever local semi-state titles. And lots of interviews there. And, Dane, I tell you what, I mean, when you and I just kind of bounced around the idea of revamping the Internet, 6 months ago, how long it's been, 7, 8 months ago.
Yeah, back in February and March.
We knew that there was ideas that we could put on there. Things like this, snippets of interviews that you can slice and dice and put on there. And Steve and Dave did a great job of taking bits and pieces of sporting events that we have on radio. Since we tape everything now, record everything. There's no tape anymore, duh. We record everything now, put it into our archives. You can go in and slice and dice and take anything you want out of it, give it to you. You can stick in this article. I mean, we never thought that you could listen to let alone whole broadcasts off of an article. But now you got this 10 or 11 interviews in here. These young ladies come on and can talk, and great photos of each one.
Well, it saves me from having to write because the girls tell their own stories, and we're sitting here trying to work, and of course we get all kinds of messages throughout our broadcast. You and I are going to have our own girls state finals Kinley Keffer T-shirts to wear on Friday. Just got a message from the Daleville coaches as they're going to deliver them on Friday at Kokomo. And it's just it's the coolest thing to talk to these girls and to listen to the pride that they have in their schools, and their programs, and their coaches, and their teammates. And so much of the interviews on there, and I urge you to go on there at some point in the next couple of days and to just listen to each one of these girls talk. I know that we get so caught up in all of our history and all of the rivalries that we've built, but you go and watch these girls, and they love the sport. It's all about the sport that they are learning and that they're loving and that's being taught to them by coaches who really care and are really passionate. And it just sort of reminds you of why you got excited about this sport back when you were 8 or 10 or 12 or whenever it was, because they share in that. And that's something that was missing 10 years ago. And when we're there on Friday, and we're going to be there all day on Friday, and I'm looking forward to it immensely, I think you're going to see that. These girls love to wrestle. They love to wrestle with their teammates and their practice partners, and they love to compete, and that's what we're going to see on Friday.
You and I were not around when they started wrestling like 1920s, but we've had a legacy that we've built. These girls are building their own legacy right now. They're writing the history books when it's starting up. Next year when it goes official, I mean, you can make it official, but they're doing that. It just also lets me know that Brandon Razzo does listen to our broadcast.
Yeah, Brandon wanted to be on the show, and he said, so that's tomorrow night, right, at 7:30? I said, no, that's tonight. He said, oh, no, I'm not available. So
he was talking with Joe on Guerrilla Radio there, talking about the previews, and he said, Rex interviewed this girl, and she said that they've dedicated themselves. They're not playing any other sports. Mallory Winter, she's a softball player, but, they take the summers and they go and wrestle. She said she went to Virginia Beach. She went to Colorado. I mean, they go all over the place, and there's girls on these teams now that they've dedicated. They're just wrestlers. They just wrestle all year round.
So when we come back from this next break, we will have a couple more interviews with Lena Lingo and Mallory Winter from Jay County, along with a little bit more discussion about what we saw at the Rochester Semi-State. You're listening to High School Wrestling Weekly here on WZBD.
At Jackson Associates Financial Services in Portland, we are committed to maintaining the highest standards of integrity and professionalism in our relationship with you, our client. We endeavor to know and understand your financial situation and provide you with only the highest quality information, services, and products to help you reach your goals. Give Troy a call for the latest rates on CDs and learn about the advantages in today's financial climate to invest in your hard-earned dollar. That's Jackson Associates in Portland.
Hi, this is Joel at Decatur Package Liquors, locally owned since 1965. I promise competitive prices and the best service in town. We offer bulk buy discounts for weddings, graduation parties, and other big celebrations. Special orders are also available and highly recommended. Don't forget about Wine Wednesday, where you get the best savings. Come on, guys, it's where your friends shop.
Decatur Package Liquors, with the best service and variety in town, now with locations in Monroe, Byrne, and Markle.
Hosted once again by the Double Eagle Clubhouse Grill. Tonight, I went with the battered fish and tater tots with the side order of the house salsa, and it was delicious as always. My plan was to eat half of it and take half for lunch. Well, guess what I have for lunch?
I ate 3 of your tater tots.
I have nothing left. I ate all the fish. So it's phenomenal food here at the Double Eagle. Dane, when our wrestling season goes off, I come back and eat here 2-3 nights a week. So, I mean, we put our time in here. Let's just put it that way.
We certainly do, but we certainly appreciate everything that Jason has done for being a great host and allowing us to do what we love to do and to do it right here at the Double Eagle. And, of course, the food's been great, and we really appreciate the expanded menu here on Sunday nights for the show. So we're going to go back to some of the coverage from Friday. We got a chance to talk to Lena Lingo, and specifically about the black eye that she was sporting on Friday. And we are about to be joined in the interview here by Lena Lingo, the third place match, third place winner at 135 pounds. I mistakenly called you Emily Maynor earlier because track wrestling had it already up on the board and I was looking down at the bottom. Let's bring Lena Lingo in here. And at the very beginning of the year, we did a match at Jay County, and Nat Wood, who works for WZBD and is very involved in Jay County wrestling, he told us that you were the one to watch out for this year for the Jay County Patriots, and here you are, a third-place finisher at Semi-State.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
You got a little shiner to prove that you wrestled today.
Yeah.
When did you pick that up?
I picked it up like Tuesday at practice.
Oh, okay. Did Coach Myers put his knee in your face?
Mallory Winter did.
Oh, well, at least when it's a black eye, if it comes from a two-time defending state champion, kind of wear that as a badge of honor.
Yeah, be proud of it.
So we're in the championship match. Broussard did not get Bodie did not get the fall, but she leads 11-2. So you walk out of here along with two teammates getting ready to head to Kokomo. Tell us a little bit about what you expect on Friday and what your goals are going to be.
It's going to be hard. I mean, I didn't get the place that I wanted to get today, but I'm going to work all week, work as hard as I can to come back and place at state finals.
And last year you were there at 126 pounds, so you have the experience. It's a different venue, but it's still basically the same tournament, and so you've got that experience and probably not going to be as nervous, and probably the most nervous part is waiting for the bracket to come out.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully I get a good draw. Can't wait for the brackets to come out so I can just calm down a little bit.
So you look at your ranking and you're number 13, and you've got a lot of matches against these girls who are ranked in the top 16 on Indiana mat, but certainly the more you see some of these girls, the more you know about them, the more you know that it comes down to how you wrestle and not how they wrestle.
Yes.
So we're 2 minutes left here in the championship bout at 145 pounds. What do you expect from Mallory here at 155 in the championship?
A win.
A win. Well, she's won state the last 2 years and had a great career, and we certainly look forward to watching you and Mallory and Emily next week on Friday. at Kokomo. WZBD will be there like we've been all year long, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much. Can't wait to see you there.
Thank you. Of course, after that, we were able to watch Mallory Winter take on Reagan Trineri from Eastside, and Trineri's just a freshman, and they were ranked number 1 and number 2 in the state. And I'll tell you what, they were going back and forth. I was worried that Winter wasn't going to come away with the victory, but she was able to take an injury timeout when she was really, short of breath. She took a moment to collect herself, and when she came out of that injury timeout, it was like she was a whole nother wrestler.
All business.
She was. And I know she wasn't necessarily happy with her performance, but you could tell that she had that experience, that calmness at the end to take out a freshman. If those two do meet in the finals, I think it'll be a great match again.
Well, let's play this interview with Mallory had. It's a couple minutes long here.
So we are joined by our semi-state champion, Mallory Winter. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That one took some work.
Yeah, it did. Definitely did.
I think it was a well-timed timeout for you. Did you sustain an injury, or were you just out of breath?
No, I've been fighting a sickness the past week or so.
Well, it certainly seemed like it helped because you were pretty short on breath before it, and when you came back, you looked awfully good in that last minute.
Yep.
Coming into today, you know that you're probably facing a pretty quality opponent, number 1 versus number 2. How did you approach today knowing that even if you lost today, you still had Friday to come?
My brother did this when he was in high school, and I knew that just because, he gave up a loss his senior year, and I knew just because, if you give up a loss in semi-state, that doesn't define you coming the next week. And I just knew that no matter what happened in my finals match, that I just have to recover, come back, and be better next week.
So we're watching the championship bout right now at 235 pounds, our last bout of the day. Vivian Park wrestling Kira Park. Vivian from Columbia City and Kira from Northside. And you've got 2 teammates. We talked to Lino earlier in the broadcast, and always cool to go down there with teammates on Friday to Kokomo.
Yeah, last year we sent 4 down, but this year we're only sending 3. But Lena and Emily, they've been really good practice partners this year. Lena's who I normally go with every single day, and she stepped up her game this year, and I'm really excited to see what she can do next week.
And just like that, Vivian Park is your champion with a big throw and a headlock and a fall. Mallory, we were able to broadcast your match live on the radio. And we were there all the way back in November for your dual meets, and it's been a lot of fun watching your career. And I'm really looking forward to having the day off from my regular job to spend the day watching you on Friday try to win a 3rd state title.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
She gave us the old yep, but like I said, we've got a lot of interviews on there on WZBD. I hope everybody checks them out. I would especially point you to the last 2. Michaela Clifford and Vivian Park gave great interviews from Columbia City, spoke very highly of Coach Blaine Culp and what they've been able to accomplish, talked about their experience being the sisters of male wrestlers and having brothers that brought them into the sport, but then finding their own success. I also would ask you to listen to Heaven Gardner's interview at 170 pounds for New Haven, along with the 2 young ladies from Westdell who wrestled in the same weight class and who are practice partners who finished 2nd and 3rd. Those were really compelling talks, and I am really looking forward to having chats with those girls on Friday to see how they do, and hopefully they survive the blood round on Friday morning and advance into the placement rounds.
Great interviews there. With that, let's send it back to studio for a round of commercials. Back with more wrestling talk here on WZBD.
Nobody handles screen printing and apparel like Team Mantra Wear in Bluffton, providing high-quality and creative apparel for South Adams football, Belmont wrestling, and many others in our area. Team Mantra takes all the work coaches and volunteers used to do, taking orders and collecting money, and does that for them. Set up an online store and let the local experts at Team Mantra take care of the rest. From custom designs to a wide array of apparel and gear, Team Mantra is your home for all of your team apparel needs. Visit the brand new location for Team Mantra Wear on Main Street in Bluffton, or visit them online at teammantrawear.com today.
Are you ready for spring? come see what we have growing in the greenhouses. Hi, it's Jessie at Heller Nursery, and we are open all winter long. Heller Nursery always has a wide selection of houseplants in stock and pottery for inside and outside the house. We are preparing for spring every day now, and with new shipments of decor, pottery, plants, and seeds, there's always something new to see. Check out hellernursery.com to see our wide selection of spring offerings of trees, shrubs, fruits, and perennials. Heller Nursery, open 7 days a week.
Brad Weber proudly supports the WZBD Wrestling Coaches Show. He also supports youth football in Adams County as a board member of the Decatur Football League and president of Belmont Cadet Football, giving our youth the chance to learn the great game of football. Some of the best football players in our area have also been fantastic wrestlers. That's why famous coaches like Joe Gibbs and John Madden always wanted wrestlers on their team. Find out more about youth football opportunities by giving Brad a call at 452-7045 or email bw@bradweberlaw.com.
Welcome back to Hager Hersey's Elf High School Wrestling Weekly, hosted once again by the Double Eagle Clubhouse Grill. Rex Brewer along with Dane Fuelling. And Dane, man, this week just flew by. It seems like just yesterday you and I were in the basement hanging out with some snacks. Had some dip for us. Had some little
it was a good recipe. I will give you credit for
little weenie rolls
for that one. And now we're into the next period where we're going to take a look at the brackets that have been released. And I know they haven't been the kindest to the Jay County Patriots, but that's what it's all about, right? You get in now. Now we have a true setup, just like the boys. 4 semi-states, 4 wrestlers from each of the semi-states. You draw in. You know that if you don't finish first, you're going to wrestle one of the other semi-state champs, and it looks a little bit different. And I know the first one that I looked at was Emily Maynor, and she ends up wrestling Alexandra Basic from Highland, who is the defending state champ. So a tough draw there for Jay County.
What weight's that at, Dane?
That's at 140. Now the champion at 140 pounds. We're going to play you her interview here in a second. That was Naomi Leffers from Central Noble. And I'm just so intrigued by these girls and their stories and how they got started. And for some of them, it's, well, I wanted to wrestle, but of course, you don't just wrestle by yourself.
Yeah.
You wouldn't, there's never been a state champion who didn't have a practice partner, who's been a team of one. You have to have that partner, that person who's at least similar to your weight, who's willing to push you. And so it was interesting to talk to Naomi and have her discuss the fact that she challenged another girl to join the team, and that's when she took the plunge. So Mallory, we are still in the interview loft here with Naomi Leffers. Tell us a little bit about what inspired you to start wrestling.
So, like I said, my brothers had wrestled, and we were getting a girls program started up, trying to grow the all-girls wrestling. So one of my friends got really close to trying it, and I said, I'll do it if you do it. So we kind of just both agreed and joined, and then we got a bigger group going, and now we have 2 of our foreign exchange students on the team. So that's really cool. They both did really well. They didn't move on, but they've done really well. So it's just grown, but basically just friends trying it out, and we both agreed to try it and have fun with it.
Very cool. We congratulate you again on your championship today, and we look forward to seeing you on Friday at Kokomo. WZBD will be there to cover it, and hopefully we're talking to you next weekend as the state champion.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, Dane, when I was interviewing some girls at the regional at Jay County, I was asking them, I said, is it make it easier to get girls out to wrestle knowing that, it's going to be sanctioned and it's only going to wrestle girls? And they said, 100%. I said, girls said, I don't want to wrestle. I have to wrestle against boys. I have to practice against boys. And I said, you don't have to. You don't never have to wrestle a boy. And they said, I'm in. And they said that it makes it so much easier. The girls who struggled through the Ocampos, Hernandez and Coyne that we know here from Decatur that started wrestling boys. I mean, it's a disadvantage to them, a huge disadvantage to them. But if you tell a girl, look, Jay County's got a perfect setup. They've got 2 wrestling rooms side by side. They got a door between them. It's open. They got a girls' room and a boys' room. And they train together. But if you want to work drills and stuff and go full goes, I mean, they're not wrestling boys. They're wrestling girls.
Yeah, it certainly made a difference. We talked to Brett Smith from Prairie Heights. He talked about how they're a small enough school where they have to run simultaneous practices because they don't have the facilities. Also in that Brett Smith interview, he talks about being dad and coach. He convinced his, I think, senior daughter to come out for the team this year. And it was really cool to talk to him about those experiences. But
how's that conversation go around the dinner table? What are you weighing these days?
Yeah, exactly. She was a volleyball player and has been, and I know Brett has been really involved in volleyball the last few years, but just kind of talked to her. I know his older daughter was a manager for his team for all 4 years that she was in high school. And I know Brett really appreciated the opportunity to be her coach for that 1 year. And he had a couple of girls who qualified for the state finals. One of them wasn't his daughter, but he walked away from the Al Smith, handed it over to Levitz to take care of things, and he went and coached the girls. And I just think I talked to so many coaches in so many other sports. I'm just not sure there's a whole lot of groups of coaches out there who would be willing to basically double their workload for half the pay and to be able to separate themselves from what is considered the varsity, the successful team, the program, and to go off and coach a bunch of girls who really haven't done anything with the sport and really aren't all that good, but still treat it with that same passion. And that's Sam Reason, Eric Myers, Andy Oberlin, Brett Smith. There's 100 others out there right now in Indiana who are doing all of the same things. Ed Pendosky, right? We saw him under the lights when the Mattingly girls were wrestling for Carmel. Those guys are doing twice the work, coaching 2 different teams for, in a lot of situations, the exact same pay. And they don't think twice about it.
You talk to Eddie. He's passionate about his girls' team. He is. Now, the coach that was at Penn for a while that coaches Sarah Hildebrand, name Harper. You know, if you ask Brett Harper 10 years ago, what do you think girls wrestling is going to do? And now ask him, and he's sitting in a corner at the Olympics watching one of his wrestlers wrestle, and it's like, are you kidding me? It's went from here to just kind of a fad, you know. But she wrestled on the boys' team. Was one of the was his normal 126-pounder and wrestled there. Now she was wrestling in the Olympics, and he's gone all over the world to coach that young lady.
And 1,095 wrestlers wrestled in this year's regionals. With sanctioning last year, I think we're going to be looking at a number 1,500, 1,600, if not 2,000 here in another year or two.
Because Gary said that he had registered close to 1,500. You know, just because they didn't wrestle in the regional doesn't mean that they weren't registered to be on 18.
At 135 pounds on Friday, the first round match that we're going to have our eye on is Lena Lingo. She will take on Claire Redwine. And Redwine is from Southwestern, I believe. So that'll be an interesting one for her to see if she can medal. As we just mentioned, a very tough draw for Emily Maynor, taking on the defending state champion from Highland. And then at 155 pounds, Mallory Winter was your champion. She takes on a young lady from Greenwood in Sophia Reigel, and she will be opposite from Reagan Trenery from Eastside, Maylee Skinner from Madison Consolidated, and I really look for Mallory to reach the finals again, of course, as a 2-time state champ. Who wouldn't? But really excited at the fact that we were able to follow these girls in November and December, get to know them, by face, and be able to pick them out of a lineup and not have to consult track wrestling to know all of their faces. And you can't help but root for those girls when you see them on the big stage with girls from all over the state. You know, Dane,
I tell people all the time, hey, if you've never been to the girls' state finals, go and watch it. I mean, last year we watched, we won't get to see that matchup again between Ocampo and Curl in the finals. They're in different weight classes, but that was as technically sound wrestling as you're going to see. Those girls at 106 last year that, of the 4 that placed, they were all ranked in the top 20 in the nation in their weight class in freestyle. So, I mean, there's the level of technicality of these girls is just amazing. And it's like, it's come a long way. First couple of years you watched just a lot of headlocks, and this was not technique.
There were so many Grambies on Friday. I thought you would have been so proud. You are absolutely correct. When you used to go to Mechaniqua on that Friday night, it was all headlocks.
Yeah.
You didn't even see the double legs. It was headlocks, and it was you get to the second period and then half Nelsons.
Yeah.
And that was it. If you went to those back then, and you haven't been since in the last 3 or 4 years, you wouldn't recognize what you saw on the mat. The product is completely different and improved. Now, a couple of other people that we're going to highlight here in these brackets. Kinley Keffer was your champion at 105 pounds. As I told you, we got a Daleville shirt waiting for us. She's got Joanna Cantu from Hobart on her side. On the other side, Libby Dowdy from Indian Creek is up there, along with Heather Krall, who's on the very bottom. Jackie Shackelford from Northside is going to meet her potentially in the second round. You were talking about Heather Krall. Her sister Olivia Krall is a champ from Northeastern. She'll be taking on East Noble's Aubrey Deem in the first round. And Giuliano Campo is there, and that's a potential semifinal match between those two. Michaela Brainerd, who you talked to and I talked to these last 2 weeks, she seems to have a pretty decent draw down in the bottom. But you have to remember, you still have Joy Cantu, who's incredibly experienced wrestling for Maryville, not only on the girls' side, but also on the boys' side at 110 pounds. And then at 100.
I saw Kendall Moe on Saturday wrestling for the Iron Bear. I mean, she was suited up, and she wrestled matches against the boys.
Isabel Ocampo is your champion from Rochester at 115 pounds. She'll be taking on Olivia Gibson from Logansport. There are a decent amount of girls from West Lafayette. I see Isabel Kaplan from West Lafayette. I would assume that that's Rose Kaplan's sister. She's down at the bottom. The number one wrestler in the state is Tola Aluku from Ben Davis. She's the top seed there at the very top of the bracket at 115. Marissa Schneider from East Noble is there. I would look for Aluku and potentially Ocampo to be a great championship match at 115.
Now, Dane, I know you've got so many irons in a fire. It's not hard for you to follow on, but I've spent a lot of time just sitting on the garage, and I've tuned into Guerrilla Radio 2 or 3 times. Joe had a bunch of shows, in a row, and he and Mike were talking about stuff. I tuned in and listened to the show where he had Brandon on, and Razzo was talking about the girls. They ran through these brackets, and it was just like we're listening to him talk about the boys' state tournament. And Brandon had all these people ranked, and these are the matches and stuff. It was so interesting. I was just sucked in. I mean,
it's always great when you're looking at a bracket, a 16-man bracket, and you know 7 of the names. It means something more. I'm looking at this 125 bracket, and the aforementioned Rose Kaplan is up there at the top at 125, and I see Sydney DeLois as another wrestler, a potential semifinal matchup. We've talked to Jason, one of our sponsors here for our girls coverage, and New Pal had a great showing at their semi-state. I looked down there at Nevaeh Wilson, who I had a chance to talk to, and it's another great interview that's there on that WZBD story. She was your champion from Rochester, but McKenna McKee is another one who looked really, really good for the host Zebras. And you get right in that 115 to 130, 135 weight classes, that range. A lot of depth, a lot of girls who got eliminated in the regional round. I know there was some talk about what that was going to look like, but incredibly competitive. You're not talking about there being 21 girls and 16 make it to state. We're talking about there being 120 girls and 16 make it to state.
And somebody told me, hey, that's the best argument right there that you need to have wrestlebacks. I mean, this year there was no wrestlebacks in those tournaments, but there were some girls that got taken out in the rounds that wrestlebacks would have made a big difference for.
Yeah, it's one of the talking points as to what they're going to do. Is this going to be treated exactly like the boys? Is the timeline going to be the same as the boys? All of those types of things. Wrestleback's a long, talking point for wrestling fans in Indiana for what seems like forever. I'm looking through the rest of these brackets before we go to a break, and I'm looking at Heaven Gardner. You win a semi-state title, and boom, you get a girl from Penn. It's not easy. Now, Gardner did draw opposite of Evelyn Moscone, who is the number 1 ranked wrestler from Southport. So that's a good one for her. Paisley Chambers, we talked to her from Westell. She's down at the bottom at 190 pounds. Michaela Clifford will wrestle Claudia Headley from Sheridan. and it looks like she is on the opposite side from Hannah West. Hannah West, one of the girls that we're going to want to talk to on Friday because she has a chance to become a 4-time state champion from Mount Vernon. She will take on, what school is LJ? Do you know what LJ? Lafayette Jeff. Jordan Quesada. That'll be her first round opponent. And at 235 pounds, Vivian Park was your champion. She talked about the opportunity to wrestle with Columbia City. Her brother's a varsity wrestler, but Varsity Bachelor was the state champion last year from North Vigo. She and Park are on the same side. So once again, if you're a fan of girls wrestling or if you're interested in it, we are going to be there.
Let's check that. If you're a fan of wrestling.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
We are going to be there the entire day on Friday. We're going to bring you every round all the way through the state finals, unless we really like the food that's coming from the hospitality room like last year. They had the breadsticks, remember?
Yeah, they had
little
pasta.
Desserts that were there.
So is it 927 FM or are we on YouTube?
We're going to be on YouTube for most of the day. When Jay County is up, we are going to try to bring you some of those Jay County matches on 92.7. The studio did a great job of jumping in when the Jay County girls were up. They pulled it right off of YouTube, and it worked seamlessly for us because we didn't have to go off the air and switch. And Dave did a great job with that in the afternoon, and of course Dave will be on the board on Friday for that too.
So the third period A has ended. Let's send it back to studio for a round of commercials. Back with our third period B with an interview with another coach here, and we'll be back with more wrestling here on WZBD.
DDD Maintenance and Repair, owned and operated by Shane Reynolds, has your local professionals for heavy-duty truck and diesel engine repair. DDD Maintenance and Repair also offers full-service sand and glass blasting for your surface restoration projects. Whether it's getting your heavy-duty truck and diesel engine running like new or sandblasting your project to look like new, we have a blast renewing the past. Give Shane and the guys a call at 260-223-5442. That's DDD Maintenance and Repair.
The staff at Haggard, Hershey, and Zelt Funeral Home is honored to serve the community we love and live in. Locally owned and operated by Ryan Hershey and Eric Zelt, we understand that each family we serve and each life lived tells a unique story. Our goal is to offer comfort, care, and dignity to all who entrust their loved ones to our care. We are proud to call Adams County our home and look forward to serving you for generations to come.
Welcome back once again to the Hager Hershey Zelt High School Wrestling Weekly, hosted by the Double Eagle. Once again, we're live from the Double Eagle Clubhouse Grill. And as we make our way to third period B, Dana has lined up an interview with the coach from Floyd Central, Mr. Brandon Sisson. How you doing tonight, Coach?
Good. How are you guys?
We're great.
Well, Coach, we want to congratulate you on your victory yesterday, and Floyd Central had a great tournament. Tell us a little bit about how things went at Franklin.
It was a really, really good day, man. We were looking at all the lineups. I had one of my assistant coaches that kind of put them all out, and we did not actually match up real well with New Pal, and then East Noble kind of came in there, and we matched up way better with them. And then us and Columbus East have been so back and forth the past few years, man. The year they won Team State, we beat them at conference. We knew that was going to be a really, really tight duel, and it was our tightest one, actually. And then there in the final round, Coach Cook, I've seen him a lot. Me and Gabe actually wrestled at IU together, so we know each other real well, and we kind of moved our lineup around a little bit, and I think that kind of made the gap a little bigger than it probably would be normally. But, man, it was a really, really good day. We had a lot of guys fill in. We had some guys banged up. We weren't sure we're going to be able to go, and all of them kind of stepped up for each other, and it was a fun thing to watch.
Well, it's certainly been fun to watch 3A grow in the state that it's in since the split between 3A and 4A, and I know each year that it goes on, you have those rematches, those memories from a year or two ago, the revenge factor with all of those things. And I know you mentioned the rivalry with Columbus East. Obviously, they're kind of sort of in your vicinity in the same semi-state. But the further this goes on with 3A, the way it is and the competitiveness that it has, it just adds to it.
Oh, for sure, man. I mean, if you look at all those first round matches, the people that were the teams that were seeded there, the bottom four, those teams that were unseeded, almost all of them were great matches. It was kind of fun to just sit back and, as a spectator, having that bye, watching that, and just seeing how, like you guys said, it has grown. I was talking to somebody else, just kind of looking at the 3A, 4A, and I mean, we were on the outside there for a long time. We were close to being invited a couple times, but as soon as they made 3A, it's been, gave us that chance to get in there, and we've had some success, and we've really enjoyed it. So it's a great thing that the Coaches Association puts on, and we've really, really enjoyed it.
Well, I'm laughing here thinking about you sitting there with a bye during the first round as you watch East Noble beat New Pal 32-31 and Mishawaka just skate by DeKalb 37-36. You were probably pretty thankful that you were able to get one of those top 4 seeds after watching that round.
Yeah, man, it was an exciting round. Like you go to individual tournaments and you hear some cheering and stuff, but nothing really beats the excitement of a duel and the kids sitting on the mat, and just the energy in those state meets is different than anything that you do throughout the year. And I think the kids really feed on it. It helps build a team. It's great for the 1A, 2A teams as well as the 4A. And I think overall, man, it's just great for high school wrestling, especially in the state of Indiana, what the Coach Association has done. So we've loved it.
And I look at that 3A tournament, and I'm still laughing at the fact that Mishawaka finished in 7th place by beating East Noble in a tie. But they won in their first round match against the team who eventually finished 12th by 1 point, 37-36. So, I mean, it was ultra competitive both at the top and at the bottom. And I think that was one of the original criticisms of the tournament, was some of the teams at the bottom weren't all that competitive. But if you can put a tournament together where 7th place beats 12th place by a point, it's good for everybody all the way around.
Yeah, and like I said, man, when we were kind of just eyeballing the matchups, it was like 7-7 with us and New Pal, and we were gonna, with a couple of those being toss-up matches, and so we didn't match up real well with them, but I was pretty confident going in, and not many people know we had 4 guys that were regional qualifiers last year that can't crack our lineup, and so it gave us a lot of options, and we didn't have to really do it until that last round. We threw a guy in. We have a backup that has stepped in for us that Brandon did at. I mean, he got 6th at Mater Dei, and he's probably a true 26-pounder, and that kid has just been filling in for us. And then we've shifted our lineup a couple other places, and I felt very confident that we probably had the strongest backups going in there, and it gave us a lot of options. We didn't get the choice against Columbus East. If we'd have got the choice, I think we would have been able to shift a little bit, and we didn't get the choices that we needed. And we kind of had to wrestle it straight up, and it ended up being a really, really tight duel. So.
And that's the beauty of the dual meet, right?
Oh, yeah.
The jockeying for position, the worrying about the coin flip, those types of things, all kind of unique to a high school wrestling dual meet. And for those of us who love that format, this weekend was the perfect display for it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's like, I don't even think kids realize how important that coin flip is. Like it's and as I was a high school kid, like you're like, odd, or even like you have no idea. But it just gives you so many more options to be able to do things, and it is very unique, and it's really cool.
So, Coach, I got your website. I got the website up here at IndianaMat.com, and I've got a picture up here of the Floyd Central Highlander. And today my wife was doing laundry, and she says, "Where'd you get this Hobart shirt? That's pretty cool." And I was like, "Well, Coach a couple weeks ago was on and said we're going to get us some shirts." So Dane gave me a shirt, so I'm really looking forward to a Floyd Central Highlander shirt, because I think he's the baddest dude on the website there with that big sword in front of him.
Yeah, well, when I was in high school, it was a guy with bagpipes and a bow staff, and you were like, man, To me, that's not what a Highlander is. It's a warrior. It's a bad dude, kind of like the William Wallaces. And our school kind of adopted that Highlander right around when I became the head coach. I was the first person, the baseball coach actually found it. He changed it, and I was the first person to start putting on things. And we all use it all around the school now. And yeah, he's a tough looking dude. And we actually have a lady Highlander now that hopefully that starts getting seen a little more as we start building that program as well.
Awesome, Coach. Well, we congratulate you on your victory and your team state title. And just so you know, Rex is an XL, and I'm a medium on those Floyd Central 3A Team State Championship T-shirts.
All right, man. I'll keep you guys in mind.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.
That was Coach Brandon Sisson from Floyd Central. Let's send it back to the studio for a round of commercials. Back with the overtime period. You've been listening to High School Wrestling here on WZBD.
Hi, this is Joel at Decatur Package Liquors, locally owned since 1965. I promise competitive prices and the best service in town. We offer bulk buy discounts for weddings, graduation parties, and other big celebrations. Special orders are also available and highly recommended. Don't forget about Wine Wednesday, where you get the best savings. Come on, guys. It's where your friends shop.
Decatur Package Liquors, with the best service and variety in town, now with locations in Monroe, Byrne, and Markle. Weigand Construction in Fort Wayne is committed to providing quality, value-based construction services, and that commitment begins with our employees. We strive to anticipate and exceed clients' expectations, honor our commitments, and provide for the communities in which we live. If this sounds like the place where you'd like to work, visit our website at Weigand Construction to see our open positions and fill out an application. We want you on our team. Weigand Construction. Trust, well built.
Welcome back once again to the Hager Hershey High School Wrestling Weekly, hosted by Double Eagle Clubhouse Grill, and we've made our way to the overtime period. And we're going to talk about Belmont, Yorktown, and AC Delta, but we forgot to talk to one coach, Sam Reason. How you doing, Sam?
Hey, I'm doing all right, guys.
Well, Sam, Dane here, and I just wanted to congratulate you not only on your semi-state title on the girls' side and your performance yesterday with the boys, but just for surviving this weekend for you personally. You had a lot going on.
We did. We just got back home, maybe about 45 minutes ago from Franklin. We had the youth state duels today, so it was, and we hosted a tournament on Saturday with, all my assistants and just people in the community helping out. So it was a full weekend of wrestling in Kendallville.
And I also saw on Facebook that you had a little bit of personal pride today. Tell us a little bit about your son.
Yeah, so my oldest son, Henry, won the Neil Sago Memorial Sportsmanship Award. So they give out one of those. It's a mental attitude award. So they give out one to one kid in the tournament, and he was chosen by the other coaches to get the award. So just super proud of him, getting that recognition, and there's not much more I can say. That was. I about had some tears come out when I heard he won that one. I was pretty proud of that one.
Well, it sounds like you guys had a great tournament at Franklin yesterday with 3A, and I was joking earlier that I'll live up to the fact that I didn't even vote for you for 3A, and you certainly earned your spot and showed that you belong there with two great dual meets to sort of bookend the day, to start the day and to end the day, and you guys really showed that you belong there in 3A.
Yeah, we in the new PAL, I know a lot of people, they have a really good team, but we kind of looked at the matchups. And we'd seen them at Connorsville the week before, and we kind of, felt pretty good about getting 6 of them, and we had to get some of those swing matches, and we were able to, and that was obviously a huge win for the program. And then ending the day with Mishawaka, a historic program that to lose to them, we lost to them on criteria, so. I guess last year we got one on Belmont on criteria, and we lost one to Mishawaka on criteria. So that's kind of how it goes sometimes. It came down to most first points scored. So it was a heck of a dual meet. And then in between, Floyd Central really they kind of put it to us a little bit, and they kind of did that to a lot of the teams in the field. They were pretty strong. In the Greenfield duel, the score got a little bit out of hand, but it was there were a lot of competitive matches in there. I was really happy with how we performed.
So, Sam, Dane and I have been in girls' state finals mode all night tonight, and congratulations on that championship there. You come in wrestling very well, and New Haven comes in ranked number 1 in the power polls, and they get a couple of champions, but you won the tournament with no champions. But tell us how your girls wrestled for the semi-state.
So we did that. We had one champ, Kylie Honecker, won at 100. But yeah, the girls draw, like, we saw them and we were pretty excited. The bracket gods kind of smiled on us on Friday, and but we told the girls all that meant was they didn't have Juliana Ocampo. They didn't have a death draw. It meant that we thought we'd have a shot to win the match, and that we went 8 for 9 in the ticket round. We had all 9 girls in the ticket round.
That's crazy.
8 of them were able to win at heavyweight or 235. We had the girl on her back, and we thought we were gonna get a pen, and she was able to roll through to keep us from going 9 for 9. But it was a full team effort. The girls really stepped up to the occasion and executed. And New Haven's got a fantastic team. They're probably going to have a couple champs next week, but to be able to take down the top-ranked team in the state, and we're not even in the top 10, I don't believe, was a really awesome achievement and a great day for the program.
So, Sam, one last question here before we let you go. What does this next week look like for you as a coach with your program as far as recognition for your girls leading up to Friday? Anything at school, parade, all of those types of things?
So, yeah, we have shirts ordered. Should be a pretty big order. Hopefully they can get them turned around quickly because, with eight girls going, I imagine we'll get a lot of,
Rex is an XL and I'm a medium, just saying.
Okay, I'll remember that, XL and a medium. So we should have them. If you guys are wearing them when you're down there, we should have them. I can get them to you, But
we're gonna have so many. We're gonna have to change between matches, I think.
There you go. I like that. So then we're going to do a walkthrough, a parade of champions on Thursday, which is what we do for everybody who qualifies for state tournaments. I tried to get one for the team state. They wouldn't do it, unfortunately, because the IHSAA tournament is what they kind of base it on. But because the girls, this is their avenue, we're going to have a walkthrough for the girls, and it'll be really cool to see, 8 girls represented in that.
Awesome. Well, Sam, we congratulate you, and I know I was really proud of you watching you on Friday there at Rochester, and then as I saw the results come through on Saturday, it was a great performance for you, and I hope that you keep the ball rolling and find some champions and some placers on Friday.
Hey, yeah, me too. We, I saw the draws came out, so I've been so busy, haven't really had too much of a chance to look at them, but we'll be excited to see how we perform.
Thanks,
right.
Sam.
Thanks, Sam.
Hey, guys, thank you.
So to wrap things up here, as we are a little bit past our time, I want to tell you that tomorrow we've got the Celtics and the Pacers pregame starting at 7 o'clock on Tuesday. We will have an ACAC doubleheader, ACAC tournament. Matt Conversay, Luke Koenig live from Adams Central. Starfires and Jets, boys and girls back-to-back. Those should be great games. On Wednesday, we've got the Wizards and the Pacers at 7 o'clock. On Thursday, Rex, you and AJ are going on 92.7, and I believe I'm going on YouTube with Adams Central and Delta. Rex and AJ will have Yorktown at Belmont for senior night for the Braves. On Friday, look for us on YouTube throughout the day with a little bit of sprinkling of WZBD action in the afternoon.
And Dane,
from the girls' state finals.
One hit. Some people are saying sometimes they can't find YouTube or something. I'm certain that you're going to have a preview article and you're going to have links in there for them to follow.
Yep, and if you did notice, WZBD finally, at your behest, has right across the top an upcoming broadcasts page that you can find right there, broadcasts, right there underneath it.
You're kidding me.
And that'll have a list, and I do my best to update that each day.
I know where I'm going now.
And so it'll be there, and we'll get that updated tomorrow for you for what's coming up, so that'll be good to know. But notice, if we are on YouTube and the stream stops working, just go back to the WZBD radio page and see if you can find it, as sometimes the internet's sort of out of our control, and we have to reboot and all those types of things. But then on Friday we will have ACAC semifinals, presumably. Matt and Lou will have those. And then on Saturday we've got afternoon Big Ten basketball. Penn State Nittany Lions going to Purdue. Rex and I will be live on Saturday from the Jet Invite at Adams Central from the SAC. And then hopefully on Saturday night we've got an ACAC championship game. If we don't, we will have one of the premier games in the area in Belmont at Norwell girls basketball. That's basically a game for the NE8 title. If Belmont can beat Norwell, it'll be a three-way tie. If Norwell beats Belmont, they'll win it outright, and that'll be an awfully impressive performance. And then, of course, join us next Sunday at 7 o'clock for High School Wrestling Weekly as we go through everything that happened over the weekend.
I'd like to thank Steve for hanging out with us here since we ran along 5 minutes over. But, Dane, that was a lot of information, a lot of power pack. We went and we wrapped up the 4 state levels of the team state, previewed the girls' state finals as best we could. And I tell you what, that's going to be a fun day on Friday to carry those girls' championships. And it's a state champion wrestling tournament. There just happens to be young ladies wrestling.
It's going to be great.
So with that, we're going to sign off. Tune in next week here for the Double Eagle on Double WZBD. Thanks, Steve.